Disclaimers. If a spouse dies and the trust itself does not say divide assets between a survivor's trust and family trust, can the survivor still do that? And the answer is no, not if the trust doesn't already tell it to divide the assets out. But one way around that is to provide for what's called a disclaimer. A disclaimer is just a legal no thank you. I mean, just because somebody leaves you an inheritance doesn't mean you have to accept the inheritance. You can say, no thanks, I don't want it. Well, I could create a trust that says, put everything into the survivor's trust except what the surviving spouse disclaims, what the surviving spouse says no thanks to. And if the surviving spouse says no thanks to any part of what they would otherwise inherit, put those assets into the family trust. So I could do it that way. But there are restrictions on the ability to use disclaimers. One is they have to be done within 9 months of death. They have to be in writing. I cannot have benefited by the asset I want to later disclaim. So I can't use those assets and then within the 9 months disclaim them. I need to leave them separate and apart from the things I'm using if I think I'm going to want to disclaim those down the road. So the important point there is, again, when a spouse dies, when the survivor dies, it's time to get professional advice on what to do, because you've got all of these kinds of issues that can come up that if done wrong, you're going to lose the benefit of and not be able to get it back. We mentioned about contacting governmental agencies. You need to contact the Social Security Administration, Medicare, any HR departments or employers of the person who has died to determine what benefit plans they may have in place. So it's important for that successor trustee to contact all of these various government agencies, employers, life insurance companies, companies that may be holding IRAs or other qualified plans, and give them all of this information. The decedent's name, the Social Security number, the date of death. They're going to want to see death certificates. The funeral home will almost invariably order those for you. You always need more than you think you're going to need. So, I typically get about 10 to start with, and if I need more, I can get more later. But important to get enough of those death certificates, because a lot of people are going to want to see the death certificate, and they're going to want original death certificates. More notifications, things like veterans benefits, club and credit memberships. Maybe they've got credit cards that have a accidental death benefit to it to pay off the credit card. So there's just all these things that you have to start looking into, read through, and again, make it easy on that successor trustee. Don't be the one that keeps boxes of information in the garage that they have to go through to figure out what's what.